The city was alive with the usual symphony of honking horns, hurried footsteps, and the occasional wail of a distant siren. Yet amidst this relentless rhythm, one figure seemed almost invisible. Ethan, a homeless man in his late 40s, had learned the art of blending into the shadows of the bustling metropolis. Life had been cruel to him, leaving him with nothing but a tattered coat and a soul heavy with quiet despair. But there was a spark in Ethan, a stubborn glimmer of hope that refused to be extinguished, even as the world passed him by. On the other side of the city, in a luxurious high-rise overlooking Central Park, Clara Bennett was preparing for a gala. A self-made billionaire and a single mother to a precocious 7-year-old, Emily, Clara carried the weight of the world on her shoulders. Despite her wealth, she felt a persistent emptiness, a sense that her life had been stripped of the warmth and simplicity she had once known. That night, as she juggled emails and school projects, she scarcely noticed the storm brewing outside her penthouse window. Emily, however, had other plans. With an insatiable curiosity, the little girl had convinced her mother to take a short walk through the nearby streets, promising that it would be an adventure. Reluctantly, Clara agreed, and they stepped into the crisp evening air, unaware that this ordinary stroll was about to change both their lives forever. As they walked, a man stumbled out of an alleyway, wild-eyed and desperate. He shouted something incoherent, waving a knife with frantic energy. Clara froze, her body instinctively shielding Emily. Fear coursed through her veins, the familiar panic that often accompanied her high-stakes business negotiations replaced by raw terror. In a heartbeat, the man lunged toward them. Ethan had been in the alley, searching through trash bins for something to eat, when he noticed the commotion. Without thinking, he sprang into action. In a single motion, he intercepted the attacker, delivering a forceful slap that knocked the knife from the man's hand. The two men grappled, chaos swirling around them as Clara screamed for help. In those tense, heart-pounding moments, no one else seemed to exist, only the fragile life of a little girl, and the man who had made it his mission to protect her. When the struggle ended, the attacker fled into the night, leaving Ethan bruised but triumphant. Clara, shaking and pale, rushed to embrace Emily, tears streaming down her face. But her gratitude quickly shifted to astonishment as she turned to the man who had saved them. His clothes were ragged, his face unkempt, and his eyes, though kind, were clouded with hardship. She saw a homeless man, yet in that instant, she saw something far greater: courage, selflessness, and a profound humanity that money could never buy. I don't know how to thank you," Clara stammered, her voice trembling. Ethan shrugged, a small, weary smile on his face. "Just glad you and the little one are safe," he said simply, before turning to leave. But Clara was not ready to let him go. She called after him, insisting he come with her to her car, offering him warmth, food, and a place to rest. Hesitant, Ethan finally agreed, not out of expectation, but out of a quiet acknowledgement that perhaps fate had given him this moment for a reason. Over the next few weeks, Clara's life intertwined with Ethan's in ways she could never have imagined. She discovered that he had once been an engineer, a man of immense intelligence and kindness, whose life had been derailed by a series of tragic events, losing his family in a fire and subsequently succumbing to poverty. Clara was struck not only by his resilience but also by the unshakable dignity with which he bore his hardships. Emily, in her innocent wisdom, quickly bonded with Ethan. She called him Uncle Ethan, and insisted that he stay with them whenever he wanted. The child's laughter, infectious and unguarded, slowly began to fill the emptiness in Clara's heart, reminding her of the simple joys she had long forgotten. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Clara turned to Ethan, her voice soft. "You saved our lives that night. But, in many ways, you've saved me too." Ethan, unused to such praise, simply shook his head. "I didn't do it for that. I just couldn't stand by." Clara's heart ached with admiration. Here was a man who had nothing, yet gave everything without a second thought. She realized that wealth, accolades, and social status were meaningless in the face of such genuine humanity. And so, she made a decision that would astonish everyone who knew her. She offered Ethan a home, a job managing her charitable foundation, and a place in their family. The news spread like wildfire. Friends and colleagues were stunned that a billionaire single mother would entrust her life, and the life of her child, to a homeless man. Some doubted Ethan, questioning whether he could handle the responsibility. But Clara's faith never wavered. She saw beyond the surface, recognizing the nobility of a man society had overlooked. Ethan thrived in his new role, channeling his intelligence and compassion into initiatives that helped countless others who were struggling. His past, once a source of shame and despair, became a wellspring of empathy and insight. Meanwhile, Clara discovered a joy and connection she had never thought possible, a reminder that love and family could be found in the most unexpected places. Together, they became a beacon of hope in the city, a living testament to the power of courage, kindness, and human connection. People marveled at their story, not because of the wealth involved, but because it revealed something fundamental, that compassion can transcend circumstance, that heroism can come from the most unlikely individuals, and that sometimes, a single act of bravery can ripple outward to change countless lives. One crisp morning, as Ethan watched Emily chase pigeons through the park, Clara joined him, her hand brushing against his. "Thank you," she said softly, "for teaching me that life isn't about the money, or the things we own. It's about people. It's about love." Ethan smiled, a rare, unguarded expression of happiness. "And you taught me that even when life knocks you down, there's always a chance to stand up again, sometimes in ways we never imagined." As the city pulsed around them, teeming with strangers and untold stories, Ethan, Clara, and Emily stood together, a family forged not by wealth, but by courage, kindness, and the extraordinary impact of one selfless act. And in that moment, they all understood a profound truth. Heroism is not measured by fame or fortune, but by the willingness to act for the good of others, no matter the cost. Their story became legend in the city, a tale retold in newspapers, social media, and casual conversations, a reminder that even in a world often overshadowed by greed and indifference, humanity still has the power to shine, to inspire, and to transform lives in ways that money never could. In the end, Clara, Ethan, and Emily showed everyone something timeless, that sometimes, a slap in the face can awaken not just survival instincts, but the deepest reservoirs of compassion, courage, and love. And sometimes, that single moment can change everything.